Sharing to live stream. I haven't seen this before. Setting up your webinar. This is weird. Sorry, this content isn't available. What? Did we wait too long?
We're live.
Hi, everyone. This is Coach Mo. Webinar is now streaming live on Facebook, but it looked like it wasn't. So here we are. This is America's kick-ass career coach, Coach Mo Faul. I am here with one kick-ass woman, Traci Hinton. Traci is a kick-ass coaching program graduate. She's also a kick-ass client concierge. She's also now a kick-ass client career breakthrough strategist. Traci, you've been with me for a little while. You've been with my work for a little while. And let's talk about stepping into your power, because you know a thing or two about that. And I think your personal track record, if you will, was not standing in your power. And that's how we started getting to know each other, was you were like, help, I need something different. You want to just give us a little storybook picture of what that before shot looked like?
Yes, the before shot looked like doing 3 and 4 jobs at work, holding 3 and 4 positions and collecting 1 paycheck, and allowing friends and people into my life who saw me more as a resource than, you know, as a contributing human being who should receive back. I gave a lot, and eventually was depleted and really had nothing left to give and not much left for myself.
Yeah. So how long could that have stayed going on like that?
When I had my clarity call with you, I was literally at my breaking point. It had been going on for 15 years. And I couldn't do it one day longer. Yeah.
So what do you think was kind of going on there? What do you think was going on with working your ass off, trying to prove yourself, trying to prove your worth? What's underneath?
I think what's underneath was, what got me to that point was I was tired of being tired, and I was tired of feeling that it was necessary to prove myself. I had this core belief that if others approved of me, that would be enough, that it would be sufficient. And what ended up happening was I was continually being taken advantage of and being drawn from and depleted, and then I wasn't enough even for myself. And when I couldn't contribute to the level people were used to, I was discarded. Then I became somebody that was expendable. I became an expendable resource to my employer, to, you know, some friends that I had in my life, and feel good. And I knew I was worth more than that.
So you just said like $1 million worth of women's typical problems when they're working their ass off and not getting where they want to go. And the bottom line is a feeling of low self-worth.
Absolutely.
If other people love me for how I look or what I do or how I make them feel better, then I will have some self-worth and I will then be me. Doesn't work.
No.
Who set up that contraption ever? Who set that up? I don't know, but it's a trap a lot of women are in. And Hibby, Marissa. Yeah, we got some agreeers here happening. Women we know, Traci. This is a trap that women get into because, how should we say it? We're taught that our self-worth is through others.
Yes.
Not a lot of messaging that our male counterparts get.
No.
And so we become conditioned by society, by the messages we get from parents, other family of origin members, boyfriends, even our girlfriends. Other women are doing the same thing. So we're like, well, I'm doing that too, and it's not working for me, but I think it's going to work. And eventually that guy's going to love me just as much as I want him to. And eventually that boss is going to earmark me for that promotion. And eventually cancer, chronic sinus infections, bronchitis. I just talked with a dear woman who had colon cancer,
Yeah.
one of our clients. And this is a trap. I had breast cancer. I know what it's like to fight my way through trying to prove my worth and prove how smart I am and how valuable I am and and fight against my own femininity.
Right.
Because guess what? Early in my career, I was like the only woman at the table.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I'm hating myself for being a woman, because if I was a guy, things would have been different for me.
Maybe easier, or you'd be more accepted or more tolerable.
Ouch. I don't know if I was ready to hear that, Traci. I think you just put me into this funk. So we met.
Amazing. And I think, but that's the message that we as strong women receive.
Yes, it is.
If you're too loud, if you're too demanding, you're considered a bitch. If you're too go-getter, you're considered too masculine. All these things are too this, and we're just being ourselves, and we're shamed for it, and we're criticized, and we start to believe it, and we start to shrink, and we start to show up small to be accepted, and we start getting used and abused and depleted. And the more we show up shrinking, the smaller we become, and it becomes a very vicious, very deadly cycle that does manifest in these diseases.
And you said the word, it can be a deadly cycle.
Literally.
It can literally kill us, because the energetic pattern of it is one of our energy leaving our body. And so the cells in our body begin to fight against each other. How many women have autoimmune diseases? That's the body attacking itself. Hello. Energetically, we are imprinting ourselves for this, and we're stuck in a pattern. Now, you and I both know something. Hey, Miliana's here. Hello, Miliana Coulter. So you and I both know, Traci, that the beginning of this is to cure the self-worth thing.
Well, and I think it's that shift of saying, stop.
Yeah.
No more. I'm done with this. And not even knowing what that looked like or where to go from there, but making manifestation, or excuse me, making that manifest. You know what word I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, we're making a declaration for ourselves, right? We're standing in our power by making that declaration for ourselves about what we know to be true and what we will no longer tolerate.
Yes. And you don't have to know what it looks like, but once you declare it, that's what I learned, was the universe started to show up to support me. And I was scared to have my clarity call with Coach Mo, because I realized this is the time where I need to make decisions that are going to put the onus back on me. I'm responsible for what's happening in my life, and I'm responsible for getting myself out of it. But I knew I needed help, and I was scared to reach out for it. And honestly, the clarity call was the first time where I kind of let everything out. I told parts to my sister, parts to my best friend, parts to my mom, but there wasn't one person that I could just say, this is Traci, and she's a flippin' mess right now, and I don't know how to get her out of it. Help me.
Yes. And boy, you did. And I got to say, the other thing that we haven't used this word yet, but this is the word, and it's commitment. You made a commitment to yourself that your life had to change.
Yes.
And we've got some women here who are commenting on our video here, Marissa and Kimmy and Miliana, who made the same commitment. Some of them made it before you. Some of them have made it after you. Melissa, the commitment is this: I am worth living a life that feels good and where I'm honored for my work. I'm loved for who I am, and I don't have to freaking spend every depleting second of my life proving it.
Or playing small.
So I have this Marianne Williamson quote that I love reading. I probably don't even need to read it ever again. I can just recite most of it. But there is an element when we find our true self, when we find our inner being, which, by the way, is the little voice that you're listening to when you finally commit to yourself. Because that little voice is saying, Traci, come on, I'm in here. Please listen. Please get me out of here. Please make it easier. Please do the things you know you need to do to serve me, this little inner being. And once you listen to that inner being and you commit, bam, the world opens up. And now I'm trying to like the best Facebook, Kimmy, rock on, the best Facebook Live ever. Because this is like truth right here. Traci is laying down truth.
Hashtag.
Right. Hashtag lay it down for truth. I don't know if that works. Your commitment to yourself, your commitment to saying, I am deserving of feeling good about myself. First, commitments to the self. Then when we find the true self, core values, life purpose, natural gifts and talents, all of a sudden, you're awesome.
But I didn't know what mine were. I had next to no awareness of what mine were. I had been playing small for so long and letting others dictate my decisions, letting others dictate my hairstyle, my clothing, my furniture. This that you see is all me now because, thank you, because I took this journey over this last year where I thought, I'm the only one that's going to be here when I die, for sure. I want to enjoyment and joyful and all those great things in life that I was just missing out on.
Right. So you commit to yourself, you come into the kick-ass program working with me. We uncover underneath those layers of self-doubt, worry, and am I worth it? And we find an awesome Traci inside.
Yeah, thank you.
We found an awesome Traci inside. I'm trying to keep up with these gorgeous decorations. Red, red, red. Yeah, so you're Emiliana's favorite color here. So we find a gorgeous, awesome you inside that has nothing to do with your body. It has nothing to do with your work product per se. It's who you are in your essence, your non-physical, your beingness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're awesome.
Thank you. And now
we get to show it to you. We get to show you how awesome you are. How easy was that at first?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Right.
I disregarded compliments. I decorated this way 3 years ago and I was like, no big deal. I didn't realize that it was anything special. I didn't realize that the way that I liked to dress was anything special. I'd get compliments from strangers and just blow it off I just blow it off. I couldn't receive because I always believed the negative.
Right. So this is one of the initial obstacles to overcome when I work with women. Here's how awesome you are. And now let's get used to you feeling how awesome you are. And back to the Marianne Williamson quote, who, if you don't know, she's wrote The Return to Love back in the 80s. When you shine your own beautiful soul, you unconsciously give others the permission to do the same. When you show up, Traci, I know that your design and your color and your way to dress is one of your hobbies, maybe someday being your actual income stream. When you show up with your natural gifts and talents and your awesomeness shining from the inside out, strangers are recognizing how awesome you are. Strangers are saying, oh, that's a great outfit to put together. And I know it wasn't just strangers. I know there were some women who you work with who said the same thing to you, like, how'd you put that outfit together? You're like, oh, this. And then afterward, when you're in the course, you're like, yes, thank you.
Yes.
Right? You were able to take compliments.
I know, right?
And be your gorgeous, awesome, full, energetic, talented self.
Thank you.
And when you started showing up big, what started to happen?
Oh, things started showing up out of the blue. It was bizarre almost. And I had to suspend my disbelief.
Yeah.
And I remember telling me, you can't believe that you can't believe it. And
Yeah.
it's like, I can't believe that I can't believe it because this is how it works, right? This is what you told me to expect and it's happening. And holy shit, I can't believe that I can't believe it, but I can't. But here's, I have to.
Right. That's so good. And so the universe begins to bend to our will when we commit. Mm-hmm. The universe begins to go along on our journey. When we're in a proving our self-worth pattern and resisting and depleted, we are pushing away the goodwill of the universe. We're pushing it away. Deflecting a compliment, push away the goodwill of the universe. Push that away, push that away. And guess what? We get more of that because that's our energetic pattern. All of a sudden, you find how awesome you are. You start to get used to the reflection of how great and awesome you are. You start showing up with that confidence. Now you're attracting more of that into your life, and the miracles begin to happen.
Yes. And I'm attracting kinder people, whereas before I was afraid of being judged and criticized or whatever, fill in the negative, experience. And I got the opposite. When I started believing in myself and I started treating others the way I wanted to be treated, really, people showed up in the manner that I deserved to be treated.
Yeah. Melissa's asking us a question. Any tips for suspending disbelief?
Yes. You just keep telling yourself, I can't believe that I can't believe it, but I believe it because it's here. And you just
how about before it's here? You have a tip for that? Before it's really showing up in the physical realm, how does one suspend disbelief?
You daydream about it already existing and already experiencing it. Daydream about it. Picture it, see it, smell it, taste it, all in your mind's eye. If you can convince your mind that it's real, it'll happen in reality. But it starts up here. And that's probably the hardest part that we forget is the starting point, is to think about it, think it into existence.
Look at you. Suspending disbelief is not paying attention to what we currently are experiencing because it's a remnant of what we used to think.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you're saying is, let's plant the seeds for what I want to happen in my life and how I want to feel. I'm going to plant them now by thinking that way and feeling that way now. She just rolled over and said, yeah, good idea, Mo. She's thinking, I just want to lay on the floor and feel good. So that's what she's doing. So she gets more of it. So when we focus on what we want in the feeling state, not as if it's out here, but that it's here already, ours, we bring it close to us. And there's this gap between what we want and what we see in the physical world, the gap of quote unquote reality. When we think and feel the way we want to think and feel, we close and close and close the gap. So Melissa, to answer your question, tips for suspending disbelief: stop focusing on the now, stop focusing on what you have in front of you, and suspend that into the future. Here's a good example. You go to a movie, you get your popcorn, you get your, well, maybe not soda, maybe a bottle of water. How about that? Water and a popcorn. And you sit in your seat, ready to be entertained. Mm-hmm. You suspend your disbelief that there's a real world out there and you're ready to be entertained. So Melissa, just like you would do in a movie theater where you suspend your disbelief, you know it's not true, what's on the screen, but you have feelings and reactions and real. How many movies have we cried at? I've cried at dozens and dozens of movies, and I know it's not real. Mm-hmm. We suspend our disbelief for stories and for movies all the time. So make your own movie, make your own story, mm-hmm. and act as if it is true.
Mm-hmm. And it's a daily, sometimes hourly, yes. Sometimes minutely practice.
Yes. The word that a lot of people don't really want to hear, although Melissa, I know you have a lot of this yourself, and that's discipline. Because the gremlins will come and want to kind of like keep chewing at your brain to say, remember what it felt like to be needy and want people's attention? That felt better, Traci, didn't it? And when you're fully aligned, you're able to kind of keep those gremlins at bay. Mm-hmm. When you're not aligned, those gremlins take up residence. They live inside all crevices and all pieces of our body. They can literally take charge of our lives.
Mm-hmm. And you start reacting to your external environment instead of expecting what's coming your way to come and preparing for it and being grateful. You're reacting to the negativity because you're thinking negatively. And your present is like you explained to me on a call once, it's like a parallel universe, almost like you're in the twilight zone. You're stuck in your reality now is from yesterday's thoughts.
Yes.
And so change your thoughts now, and that's going to change your tomorrow.
Yes. Perfect. I couldn't have said it any better. So I'm so glad you were paying attention, Traci. I'm starting to say, feel it into existence, dispelling disbelief, work with Mo and her team. Liliana, that's a great answer. So if you want to learn how to do that, just work with me. I mean, this is as easy as it gets. Yeah, exactly. So Traci, you were putting together basically a portfolio of how to be a designer for people, for clothing and for their interiors. You wanted to help people live in more beautiful clothes and places. And you were graduating from my Kick-Ass program. And I said to you, hey, let's add a little one sheet Traci Hinton style guide, because as you know, in my Kick-Ass program, one of the modules is an elevator pitch, so your own personal commercial. And now we are graced with how to style for your elevator pitch, because we want everyone to videotape that in the group and learn from that experience and totally rock it. So when we were getting prepped for that, you were in the process of getting a raise from your current employer and feeling good about that. And one of our calls, I said, hey, how's it going? And you're like, yeah, well, that employer is starting to back down on their promise and this, that, and the other thing. And it had just been at the point where I needed to hire a full-time operations manager to come help and support my growing business. And one thing clicked after the other, and voila, in a couple of weeks, you're giving your notice and you're coming on board with me.
And the day I gave my notice, 2 weeks later, their operations manager brings in a piece of paper with my raise on it. And I'm like, thanks for the raise. Here's my 2-week notice.
You're like, is that $1 day late and $1 short or what? Yeah. So they showed their cards through that process, and you were so aligned that you were like, you know what? That's not how I roll anymore. I used to do that. I no longer do that. And this is something that I know that you, because you've been with me for almost a year now, I believe that you've seen this as well. And that is this: when we get into our alignment, we now begin to detract things that no longer match and attract the things that do match. So if you're with an employer that's not really aligned, or a job that's not really aligned, you'll get that figured out in the work that we do. And you've seen in front of your own eyes as well, the women who attract their dream jobs while they're working with me. And it is amazing.
The interesting thing is, whether something negative falls away or something positive comes to you, I didn't have to do anything physically to make it happen.
Right.
And believing that I was deserving of an incredible life. I didn't have to push people out of my life that were negative away.
Yes.
And I didn't it took all the blood, sweat, and tears out of pulling the positivity to me as well. It just, stuff arrived. People crossed my path. People reached out to me. Things fell in my lap, and I'm like, oh my God, there is a God, you know? It was amazing. Yeah. And so one of the things that usually happens when people hear these things is that people usually say, yeah, that would happen to Traci because, well, just look at her. She's attractive. She speaks well. Of course it's going to happen to her, but what about me? So Traci, I'm going to put you on the spot here, my friend. I don't wake up looking this cute. I like to think I do. I'd like my boyfriend to think I do. Battle. But a lot of it too is just, the less you believe about yourself, the smaller you stand, smaller. You don't care about your appearance as much. You're more of an Ebenezer Scrooge in general, and then you get people cutting you off on the road or gypping you out of money that they owe you. Like your energy really pulls the same energy to you.
Sure does. It's like you're traveling on, you pick the highway. If you're going to be on the highway of positivity, my dreams come true, I'm worth it, I don't need to bust my butt to prove it. If you want to travel on that highway, you're going to have other people traveling on that same highway, waving as you go by. If you're on the highway of life sucks, I'm not worth anything, people treat me poorly, like you're going to be like giving the finger and driving by people on that highway.
Yeah,
So you gotta get people off the off ramp, zoom around, come around, GPS, this way, that way, new highway. And we suspend disbelief that that new highway exists. I know that you have a good friend who lives in Canada, who is in the Kick-Ass coaching program with you, and she landed her dream job like pretty quickly. And her dream job just happened to be headquartered in your town.
Yep.
And I'll never forget, because it was last year around November, she came to her first week of training, and you guys had the most picturesque snowstorm her first week there. And I remember the pictures that she posted. This is my new dream job. This is my headquarters. And then it was like the next day, this is my new best friend, Traci. And such great solidarity of women getting on their journey, landing their dream jobs, feeling awesome about themselves, no longer getting together with a friend to bitch about life.
Nope.
Like, how awesome is that that's not in your life anymore?
Yeah, and those friends that I had, guess what? They fell away. I can't even get a hold of them, and I try. So
crazy.
Just different highways of life, man.
Right. They're not even in the same nothing. Yeah. And so now you're surrounded by women who are empowered, speak of positive things, see the beauty in life, seek out more, have their souls expanding every day, and are doing things daily to enhance their lives. Now, I know that your current job is actually working with women on our clarity calls. And it is the first step that a woman will make to say, you know what, I want to check this out. Can I really have the life that I want? So you are a just beautiful, gorgeous, inside and out testament to the fact that you can. What do you find sometimes on the clarity calls that's really holding people back, that you can either relate to or that's different than yours? What do you really see that goes on there?
There's a lot of fear. And when I was determined to do something, there was no stopping me. And so when I see and I hear the fear, it's like, you haven't reached that point of determination yet. And what is it going to take for you to get there? How bad are you going to let it get? How many more years? How much more, of the negative crap are you going to believe people telling you? Because it's all about mindset and it's all about self-worth. And so that's been hard because I believe in them and I believe in more for them than they do.
Yes.
And I can't give it to them. I can only share it with them, but they have to receive it. And a lot of them are just not in a place of receiving.
You said something to me the other day, which I really took to heart. And it was something like this: Mo, you have more faith in us than we have fear.
Your faith is bigger than their fear.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that was a great statement to make. And I think sometimes that when we talk to a woman who is on that brink of deciding that they're more important and they need to do something for themselves, when we're at that brink with that woman, we may be the only person ever in that person's life who really believed in them and that they had an awesomeness inside. Is that true from where you were a year ago?
Oh yeah. I think for me, I knew that I was worth having a happier life. Yeah. I didn't feel the awesomeness inside me at all. So I definitely can relate to that.
Yeah. 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 It's powerful when we can move a woman into her greatness. And I just shared with you before we went live here, one of the women in our program really finally got it and committed to herself, and all sorts of things are now falling her way. And it's so beautiful to watch. And of course, every time we have a dream job that happens in the program, we all celebrate it. And anytime there's a woman who decides to choose for themselves and come into the program, we celebrate that as well. It's really an awesome place to be. We're going to do more of these Facebook Lives with you, Traci, and I love your story, and we're going to kind of drill into some of these issues as we go along. Of course, we had culture last week and Jean earlier, and you know that I am talking with some of our clients as well, and their stories, so we're going to be able to share their stories in the coming weeks as we get into 2018. I just want to say thank you so much for having faith and trust in me. Because it's my life's work to help elevate souls and bring women, and you know, I work with a couple of men one-on-one also, but mostly my work is with women in the Kick-Ass program, to bring women into their full power and own their lives and their destiny. And as you know, because you were on the meditation this afternoon as well, the planet is shifting. We are in an era of humanity right now where women must step up to the plate in order to keep the planet expanding and moving forward. Our ability to take control of our individual lives and our destiny is going to change the entire human race. And it is our time to do that so that we can balance the planet and balance what's happening in the world. And we're seeing it at a macro level. But every single day when a woman says yes to herself, she helps keep the planet expanding in the right way.
And I think your faith is bigger than the world's fear. So if there's somebody to work with, it's you, Mo. Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much for that. I want to offer you a blessed end of year. May your last week of 2017 be the best ever. And just we're going to ring in 2018, and we have a goal. We have a goal of changing 333 women's lives next year, and we are absolutely going to be exceeding that goal. If we're not meeting the goal, we're exceeding it. So, ladies, if you're thinking about, well, it's Christmas and it's the end of the year, maybe I'll wait till January. Where has waiting gotten you? Plant that seed now so that the universe can say, hey, you're a player. We're going to make things happen for you in 2018. So we have the link for the booking your free clarity call. It's with Traci, myself, or Coulter. The universe will help us divinely connect on who is to be for each call. And Traci, have a blessed Merry Christmas and holiday. Of course, I'll talk to you tomorrow and next week as we close out the year. But folks, give yourself the opportunity to imagine yourself playing bigger, playing with your full soul lit up and shining. Traci, any parting words as we're wrapping up tonight?
Oh, just believe that you're worth it, because you are, and so much more.
Nice words. Believe that you're worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining me, Traci. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining.